Good morning, welcome to another trucking video. Today is my fourth day now out in a Daf Cf, a 19 plate. My normal truck, obviously a Daf XF space cab, was due for MOT I think on Monday, but I think because of the first lockdown back in March last year, they've put it back now till April, which is obviously something I didn't know Sunday evening, and it couldn't be guaranteed. It was until 6 o'clock Monday morning, but obviously I had to leave by 3:30 Monday, so that meant obviously I had this truck available which no one else was using to go out in, which I took the chance to swap some gear over, some bedding, some food, my gas burner and a few other bits and bobs to keep me going up to a week. Change of clothing, wash bag, towels. So I did all that, and here I am, day number 4, been away all week, and I've possibly maybe back to the yard today, but I will probably stay in this now until the end of the week now, might just as well, and swap my gear over tomorrow. We'll just see how it goes. So I find the CF truck, 19 plate one, quite nice, more technical, more computerized and safety conscious than the 62 plate Daf XF that I normally drive. So first of all, obviously the controls that we have are all the same pretty much. Yeah, here we have the automatic gears, neutral, and then off to the right drive, and then off to the left is reverse. That's the same as my Daf XF. Here we have a computerized control box for your heating, overnight heater, which is the button there, the parking with the line on it next to it with the heater. In my truck Daf XF, that is just a normal switch that you put on as normal, and I haven't got a computerized heater. It's just a normal heater fan with dials that you switch to how hot you want it. The radio pretty much the same as the cameras that you have. The top one is the front view to the left, and to the right is the rear view, and down the bottom there is you're looking down to your left side of the truck, and then the camera to the bottom right is the one you're looking to the right side of the truck. Pretty much all the same. The only thing I've got there is in the middle there is a big hump from the ground, and in the XF it's a lot lower, which I prefer, is a lot better. This one you've got a built-in fridge that actually works. The Daf XF 62 plate I have hasn't got one of those as yet. Passenger side, you've got the height of the cab goes up quite high really. I presume that compensates for the high hump in the middle there. The bedding at the back, we have your normal bedding, obviously drinking water and stuff, pillows, and here you have the night heater switches at the back. I have that on my one, but just one single button. You've got a night light there as well, and then across over this side I've got my the towels obviously, and my gas burner, double burner there. And this one has actually got a top sleeper bunk on it, which my Daf XF hasn't got also. But it is a really safety conscious truck. Up here we have road sensors, Road Angel. It's sensors obviously when you're moving along at speed on the motorway, and you've got the adaptive cruise control on, that will, although you're going set at 90 kilometers an hour, which is its top speed, it does slow down automatically if it starts getting too close to a vehicle in front of you in the same lane, which is really good on safety wise. My Daf XF has none of that. You just control your own how far you sit back from other vehicles and when you decide you want to overtake. This one, if you got it on the adaptive cruise control, which are the buttons on, on the steering column now. It's, you know, the steering column, you can control the speed, 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 the speed it will back off, especially if vehicles cut in front of you, or you've got slower vehicles maybe on the slip road very close. The truck will automatically put its own brakes on and slow up. So really, you got to sit further back on the vehicle, pull out into lane 2 a lot sooner. Otherwise, you will find if you're sitting too close to the vehicle in front of you, it will slow down automatically, and you will stay at that speed, exactly the same speed as the vehicle in front is doing once it gets to that gap of 3 seconds. It's the right hand lever that sits on the steering wheel, and there is the exhauster brake, which is on a foot pedal in my Daf Cf in the footwell on your left hand side, but here it's on the steering column, and there's a lever. This one just comes back, if I show you, just comes back 3 notches. So you've got your first notch, one notch there, then your second one, and then it goes back to the third one. And when it goes back to 3, that is really, really powerful. You start to put them on before you come to maybe a roundabout or slowing up at a junction, traffic lights, vehicles in front, queues or whatever, and that will actually bring the vehicle pretty much almost to a stop. So really, you don't even need to use the foot pedal. You do use it occasionally to help brake, but that does it pretty much all for you. And then you just get closer to the roundabout as you slow right up, and then you can bring it back 1 level to there. It keeps it slower but not as powerful. And then when you're almost at the roundabout, you can keep the truck rolling, saving on the fuel, and it going through all the gears again, and then you bring it back to 1 and then back to 0, and then you're pretty much at the roundabout then. And providing it's all, you work your speed so that it's all clear on the roundabout or junction or at traffic lights, and you keep the truck rolling, and then you just move on through and accelerate. And here you have the button here, which is the cruise control. You just press the button upwards at the top to increase the speed on the controls, or if you want to slow down as well, you just bring that, and that brings the speed back down. And by putting your foot on the brake, it automatically cuts off the adaptive cruise control. But I find obviously when the vehicle is not in adaptive cruise control, you controlled your distance and the speed. And obviously you can see here the dash in the CF here is a lot different to the one I got in the XF. You've got a picture of the truck there. That's at the moment telling me in red there that the parking brake is on, which is there. If you release it, you pull it up, and that's bringing it back down and on. And it gives you any other issues, whether it can tell you whether the axle's up or down. At the moment the lift axle is up, and then down here you've got your clock, your temperature and your kilometers and your trip mileage. And here it gives you a tick in that if you're doing well, depending how well you've saved fuel, keeping the truck moving, and how you control the truck at the end of the day. And it just stays there constantly. At the moment mine's on like 80, got it up to 80% at the moment, which I'm quite pleased with. So that's pretty much everything here in the Daf Cf. So you can see here from the driver's side, looking across, got all the bit in the middle there where you put your paperwork and stuff. And you've got your fridge, as I said. Up here you've got your height control. You adjust obviously the height of the trailer, plus 2 inches I normally put it. So the trailer at the moment is 14.6, so I'll put it up at 14.8, always 2 inches above what the trailer is, so you can guarantee you're not going to hit any bridges. And then you've got a big locker up here, one with lots of space in, a locker above you this side, above the driver's side, and you've got another locker over to your right there, and they've all got pretty much a lot of space in. And then you've got a small cubby hole thing there, you can put stuff in, another one here in the middle, and here you have the controls, obviously your tachograph and stuff there, which controls everything you do during the day and the week with your tacho card in, digicard. That's pretty much it about Daf Cf, and when we get back out on the road shortly, I'll show you how this adaptive cruise control works, and I'll show you how it goes, but we'll do it with the road sensors, and it'll show you how, if you'll get behind something with the cruise control on, how the truck backs off and how it runs. So we'll catch you next. We're just at a delivery now in Harlow, waiting to offload, and then once we're done we'll be on our way, and you can see how this road sensors work on the road. So here we go, we're coming to a roundabout for the M11, and I'm just going to show you how the exhauster lever here works to slow the truck up without using your brakes. It's on the second level now, bringing it onto the third level, the strongest one, and it's actually slowing the truck right down considerably, not even using the foot pedal. Lights are green, so I've just released all the lever and the foot's on the accelerator now and pulling away. We're back on the exhauster, having to use the foot pedal this time because obviously the lights have changed. But yeah, it does slow on that third level on the lever. It slows the truck down considerably, almost to a halt, to save on the service brakes. So here we are now, we're set on the M25. I'm at full speed there, 57 mile an hour, and the adaptive cruise control is on. So we'll wait and see until we get a vehicle come across in front of us, and then the truck will adapt its speed to the vehicle in front and leave a 3-second gap, so you can't get any closer, all while the adaptive cruise control is on. You'll notice and find that when a vehicle overtakes and pulls in like that truck has just done, this truck I'm in won't reduce its speed all the while the other truck is pulling away from the distance of mine. It's only once you start to catch up with another vehicle that it will reduce down its speed. Okay, so we're gradually catching up with this container truck in front that you can see in lane 1 just ahead of me, and now my truck is actually starting to slow up now from 57 mile an hour, creeping down to like 52 now. And it will keep that 3-second gap regardless. The only way you can pull out of it is if you switch off the adaptive cruise control, indicate to come out, and then put your foot down and overtake, and then you can switch the cruise control back on, which is what I'm about to do now. We're down to 50 mile an hour, and unless I obviously switch the adaptive cruise control off and move out a lane, I will sit at this speed the whole journey. So when the opportunity arises, I'll switch the cruise control off and then move over, and then switch it back on, and we can build up speed back to 57 again once lane 2 is clear, which it should be once this car transporter has passed. There's a couple of them coming now, so I'll have to stay where I am. I've had to back off a little bit myself, obviously, to allow this truck to get past and build up speed and get on his way, so I don't end up undertaking. So I'm now back back to that 3-second gap again with the truck in front. So yeah, I'm at 51, 52 mile an hour. I'm going to move over in a sec once this one's gone, because the left lane turns off to the left. And now my truck can start picking up speed again now, gradually. Got to be aware now that these trucks on the left don't decide to indicate out, which they are. Last minute, now my truck will back off and reduce speed to maintain its 3-second distance again, which in a way can be dangerous, because obviously the truck automatically suddenly wants to brake. So I'm going to come out now and pass him, switch off the cruise control so I can maintain my steady speed again. Lots of different things to think about when you're in this newer trucks, especially this one I'm in now, the Daf Cf 19 plate, compared to my 62 plate Daf Cf Space Cab, which doesn't have any of those safety systems on. It just relies on yourself to control everything. Now the cruise control's back on, back up at full speed, 57. So we're going to stay here now and get past this Sainsbury's truck on the left. And I will stay in this lane as well, because after the A12 junction we've got a lane joining. So I will stay here until we're clear of that on slip for the A12. Have cars suddenly joining, or any vehicle joining from the left side, the truck will then automatically suddenly brake and back off its distance again of 3 seconds, which can be dangerous, which is probably one of the downsides of it. All good while you're maintaining speed, but not when you've got vehicles suddenly joining, cutting in front. The truck thinks, oh quick, there's something now, I'll have to brake suddenly. So now I'm between the two slip roads, the A12, here on the M25. Myself back over, lane to the left lane. Now another feature this truck's got is if you're drifting across lanes, across the white lines, and if you drift across the white line without indicating, you'll get a big buzzing sound come up inside the truck. I'll show you that in a moment when we're next due to cross the line. That's probably in case you another safety feature, in case you decide to probably doze off or something, or drift across the lanes without realising. It's like a safety feature that sends a buzzer up in the truck to warn you that you're drifting across the lane you're in. while you indicate and cross the lines, it won't happen because it knows you're actually doing it. Yeah, so once we pass the 127, I'll go across to the left lane without indicating, and I'll show you what the buzzer sounds is like. We're rolling back at full speed for now. Now the truck's backing off a little bit now because of this vehicle in front. It's just pulled in front of me. We are creeping gradually now back up to full speed again. So you kind of got to be a lot more aware. You've got to be pulling out into lanes a lot earlier than you would otherwise at junctions, maybe, if you need to overtake slower vehicles or vehicles joining, because the truck will simply sometimes back off its speed and put the brakes on to maintain the 3 seconds. So here we go, we're just about to cross over to the left lane once these zigzag lines are done. Over to the left, lane 1, and I'll show you what the noise says when you don't indicate to cross the white lines. Here we go. That's the noise you get. If you used to indicate left or right, whichever lane you're moving, that sound won't happen. It's only if it thinks you're drifting across lanes. For some reason it's gone off then because there's an old white painted line that's been rubbed out. We went across that one. You can see like a thick black line going down the middle of this lane. First of all, it probably thought that was a line. Yeah, that's another safety features there. We've shown what this truck has, the Daf Cf 19 plate. So we're in a 50-mile-an-hour average speed check here on the A13 from the M25 heading like south end direction. Obviously we're set the cruise control now to like 48 mile an hour, just under the 50, so we don't go over this average speed check. So which most vehicles now have the button you can press, which I showed you earlier for the cruise control. You can press that up and down and set it at what speed you want it to run at, and that goes for most vehicles now, not just trucks. And even the Daf Cf Space Cab I have, 62 plate, has got the cruise control buttons set on the steering wheel, and I'm just pressing the button now, moving it up, back up to 90 kilometers an hour, 57 miles per hour at 90 kilometers per hour. And yeah, we're back up at full speed and don't even need to use the accelerator, just press the buttons on the steering wheel and the truck gains speed. And then you can reduce speed by using those buttons also, instead of the accelerator and brake. So yeah, we're just going into the big our own depot, another one we have Just at the London Gateway, big container port. Just heading into there now. And I've got to keep over to the right hand lanes. If you keep to the left, you end up going into the into the actual main container port. I've got to keep myself over to the right to bypass it as we're going into one of our own yards. Make a mistake going in there, well, I don't know how you get out of it if you make a wrong mistake. See all the trucks with containers on. Containers everywhere. So I've got to come out of here, I'll go across this lane and left near where those cars are. Very confusing the first time I come here. Just to know where we were, but they've got signs up now. So I'm straighting all the way pretty much to the end of the road into our company to load up them for Finsbury, London. Main container port over to my, just on the edge of the camera there to the left. You get all the overhead cranes there working on those big gantries you see on the top left. So right, I've arrived at my collection place. Not sure what I'm loading yet. Obviously construction materials for London. So we're just about to come off the A13, which we are, and I'm going to head on through the Blackwall Tunnel on this Thursday evening. Still out in the Daf Cf. A wee bit of traffic just before we approach the tunnel. So the tunnel approach just coming up. Good enough, 15'6" for trucks, so no problem going from the north side to the south. It's just issues when you come the opposite direction. We're inside the Blackwall Tunnel. Saves you a lot of time if you're coming from North London or Central London on the north side of the River Thames. Nice easy cut across back to the south side of London. Pick up the A2 and away you go into Kent. back to the yard, save all that way round and across the Dartford crossing up near Thurrock. So we're on part 1 of the video. Next week we'll be going into part 2 of the video, which will be back in my own truck, back in the Daf Cf space cab, 62 plate, and we'll give you a rundown, look through the cab and that, and all the differences that you've seen on this video in the Daf Cf 19 plate, and then we'll run all through the differences there with the XF. Just outside the other side of Blackwall now, going to be heading out across to the A2, heading back into Kent.